Heaven is a real place. A poem inspired by the Lord, written by Matthew Hart. The question of whether heaven is or is not a real place has been going on since the beginning of the human race. Some people believe that we don't have a spiritual person inside, and that our coffin is the final place that we reside. They believe that we are dead like an animal, and to me that is not logical or rational. Animals don't have spirits on the inside, so Christ Jesus cannot reside. Unlike animals, human beings have a moral center, and we know wrong from right. When we mess up, our consciences are pricked by God's light. My conscience has bothered me when I committed a sin, but then I asked God to forgive me, and then His cleansing power came rushing in. Human beings have a spirit that resides in a body that's made of clay, and it all happened on the sixth day. God breathed the breath of life into man, and that is how it all began. Man decided to disobey the Lord's command, and then Adam and Eve received His reprimand. Spiritual death, pain, and misery did begin, because they fell into the dictates of sin. But God had a divine plan to restore our spiritual woman or man. Jesus was sent to this earth to set the captives free and to give the new birth. God was His Father, and Mary was His earthly mother. And He came so that we could be His spiritual sisters and brothers. He lived on this earth for over 33 years, and He had human feelings, and He even shed tears. He did great miracles, healings, and cast out evil spirits galore, and did things that no one had ever seen before. Then it was time for Him to die. And He did this so that we could have a place with Him in the sky. He defeated the devil's kingdom and gave him the pink slip. And then He arose from death's powerful grip. 40 days after His resurrection, He was caught up into a heavenly cloud. And then He was surrounded by an angelic crowd. Heaven is a place that doesn't have any crying or tears, and it doesn't have any anxieties, worries, or fears. Heaven will be filled with God's love, mercy, and grace, and I believe that heaven is a real place. Matthew chapter 5, verse 11 through 12 in the NIV says, "Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you." Acts chapter 1, verse 10 through 12 in the NIV. "They were looking intently up into the sky as He was going, when suddenly 2 men dressed in white stood beside them. 'Men of Galilee,' they said, 'why do you stand here looking into the sky? This same Jesus, who has been taken from you into heaven, will come back in the same way you have seen Him go into heaven.'